Okay, well, welcome to lesson 4 of John Gendick's Harmonica Fundamental Series, a new thing I'm doing. What year is it? Oh, 2020. Oh, yeah, the year of the COVID. So let's have a little bit of fun. And on that note, first thing I want to do here at the beginning of lesson 4 is warn you about your bad habits. And that's because so many people who I give my let me get this straighter here, who I give my Zoom lessons to, so many people who I give my Zoom lessons to, a big part of the battle is to get them to stop doing things that are in the wrong direction, mostly up in here, that sort of thing, and get them to stop doing it, to break the habit. The other habit is holding the harmonica, putting the finger here on the left hand side, holding the harmonica in a way that's not really strategically planned, and you cover up this area where you want your lip to go in order to get these good bends that we're discussing on the 2-draw. So what matters, I know, but that harmonica players hold their hands, they have a cupping it, and we'll get into that later. And cupping is a great technique, it mellows the tone. But for now, what matters is what goes on inside the cup, what goes on inside the throat and in here. So twisted lips when you're trying to bend and making notes get louder unstrategically, without purpose, this sort of thing. Try to eliminate that. Putting your elbows on the table so that you're moving your head instead of the harmonica side to side, that sort of thing. I don't want you to be confused either about the K. When you're doing, say, the up riff, I don't want you to go. I want you to go. So the 2 to 3, smooth move there, making it good. Okay, so that's some of the bad habits that we talked about. Okay, now before I show you the 12-bar blues cycle for playing solo, not necessarily with a band, because you don't need to, and it just kind of doesn't really sound that bluesy when you stay right on the chord that way. But I want to show you something about articulation. Now, articulation is how you take a note and you break it up without necessarily changing from one note to another. So if I'm on the 2-draw, I can take the cadence of an entire song. One example I use is Wait Till the Midnight Hour, and I can play that song. Yeah. Oh, I'm gonna wait to the midnight hour. I'm going using my tongue in this case. And I can also articulate using my going. You hear how I kind of go. In my mind, I'm kind of like a human drum, a human harmonica drum. Yeah. The breath is part of it and part of the pause. So I'm doing this rhythm. And so I think the way to get good at this and to put it at your disposal is to just stay on one note like I am on the 2-draw and try to make it beguiling and interesting, and then expand to other notes and you'll have something cool. Like so what I'm doing, in case you can't hear this, I'm gonna wait till the midnight hour, pause and dump on, taking that cadence. Okay, so let's see what happens if I throw in a little 2-draw bend in that once I get good at it. Okay, now I'm going to throw in the 3-draw half-step bend. So you see how huge this articulation thing is, the stopping, the starting notes, and having timing and creating these little phrases. So it's a real important thing to get into that. All right. Now let's return to our box and I'll show you another way to use articulation. If we're going from 2 draw up to 4 draw, that wah, 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 wah. Well, that's all happening right in here the way I do it. And the feeling that it has. And as you hear me go, I can just feel this cold air back in here doing its going up and down. So what you're doing in here is mirrored out here. So if you're like fluid and musical and open, and getting your cadence from the musical memory that you have. So I want to talk for just a moment about the call and response format and the value of repetition. Now, if I repeat the up riff over and over, it creates a theme. And at a certain point, playing solo or, you want to change it. But it does create this wonderful musical organization. It creates a theme, something to vary from, something to build out of. Now, the question and answer format concerns, well, all of music. But in this case, it concerns the last syllable. How many beats you give it, how many articulations. So if I go... do, 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 went twice. Went once. So the first time's a question. And I answered it just by doing the riff more simply. Now, all of music is this way. Michelle, my belle, is answered by, these are words that go together well. And even Michelle is answered by my belle, has that question and answer format. So this is really everywhere. Now, it's not just in the articulation, but let's say the up and down riff is a question and answer riff. That's the question. That's the answer. But it might be more interesting if you articulate the 4 draw and then answer it. Now, if I just go to the 2 draw and I put it into a question and answer format and give it a beat and a rhythm, I can make it pretty interesting to see. That's the question. It's the answer. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. See the way I ended it, too. Gave it an ending. Be thinking in terms of these formats as you practice and as you play and as you put it into the 12-bar blues progression. Well, most music moves in circles, and we call these circles chord progressions. Now, the blues, the most common chord progression in blues is called the 12-bar blues progression. And if we're playing in the key of G, then the G is the 1 chord. We usually show that with a Roman numeral. So here's a G chord right here. All right, so we're playing in the key of G. The 4 chord would be your C chord. And we call it this 4 chord because if you count up G, A, B, C, that's the 4th chord. The 5 chord, that's your D chord. Okay, so your first 4 bars or measures are the 1 chord. And this is just typical 12-bar blues progression, and we'll translate it to harmonica in a moment. So here we are. Here's my G chord, or better yet, it's a G7th. That's what makes it bluesy. If you play some guitar, you might be making folk chords, and that's okay, but at a certain point, if you want to play blues, you want to make this chord here, and it's the 7th. It gives it that feeling. All right, so we're going to go 4 bars, not 4 beats, but 4 strum, but 4 bars. So 1, 2, 3, 4. That's a bar. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. Tune into the 4 chord. 1, 2, 3, 4. Again. 1, 2, 3. Back to the 1 chord. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 chord. The 5 chord. 2, 3, 4. The 4 chord. 2, 3, 4. The 1 chord. The 5. All right, again. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh yeah, 4 chord. 4, 2, 3, 4. Oh yeah, back to the 1 chord. Oh yeah, that 1 chord. Turn around, 5 chord. 4 chord. And that 1 chord. Wow. Well, I played a bad chord there. I got so into it. But even the teacher must make mistakes. Right? Okay, so that is the 12-bar blues progression on the guitar, except for that 1 bad chord I played. Okay? So if we now translate that into the harmonica, okay, the 2 draw, that's your 1 chord. The 4 blow, that's your 4 chord, and the 4 draw is your 5 chord. So if I try to approximate that funky beat, here's the start, the 2 draw. All right, so I see how I went around the horn. I played the blues progression. Now you don't have to do that necessarily if someone else is playing the blues progression on guitar. You can stay and not worry about that 4 blow, because that's kind of hitting that 4 chords kind of at the right time. You know, that's a thinking thing. And so you can just do the up and down riff and just play within the boxes that I teach you, but also at the same time be playing, I think, solo and working solo to develop your 12-bar blues progression, and then you'll be able to integrate the 2 of them, just playing mindlessly, but also going, oh, here comes that 4 chord, and going into the 1 blow or the 4 blow or whatever note happens to be. All right, so I'm going to do a little bit more solo work here for you. we're going to start off arranging these primary riffs into a 12-bar blues progression. So I'm going to take the down riff, and I'm going to play it 4 times ending on the 2 draw, and then I'm going to play it 2 times ending on the 4 blow, and so forth, to go through the whole chord progression, just repeating this pattern. And if I can do it naturally, I'm going to put in that question and answer format. Yeah, I did it. Here comes the answer. Now into the 4 chord. Oh, yeah. Oh, mess that up. All right. Yep. All right. Okay. Okay. Do it right this time. Okay. Okay. Into the 4. Oh, so good. All right, so now let's try to match the tonic or home bass note of each chord that I'm playing on the harmonica, so the 2 draw, the 4 blow, and the 4 draw, to the appropriate chord on the guitar. Watch my hands. That'll help, and here we go. It's 2 measures. Yeah. Now 4 blow. It's 4 chord. Back to the 1 chord. Yeah. Good. 5 chord, 4 draw. 4 blow, 4 chord. Yeah, 1 chord. 2 draw. 4 draw now. We start again. Again. All right, let's try the Let's try the down riff, but we'll follow the formula. See how it goes. Do the question and answer. Damn thing you want, really. Just go for it. Come on, I want to hear you play. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. All right, see you next lesson. You sounded great.